Martin Luther King was a great speaker and the best fighter for the civil rights of black people in the United States. His real name was Michael King Jr. He was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. He stood highly for freedom and equality for the Africans living in America. He was a great speaker that motivated the blacks to protest using nonviolence. Also, he uses peaceful strategies like boycotts, protests, marches, and sit-ins for protests against the government. King is one of the renowned leaders of the African Americans who worked for the welfare of his community throughout his life. With my recent research on Martin Luther King Jr., it is a privilege to talk about the strong and brave man. The commemoration of his determination to bring equality to African Americans showed everyone that there is hope and all things are possible if you believe in yourself. Martin Luther King Jr. was named Man of the Year in 1963, recognizing him as a fearless leader who fought hard to bring equality to America. He delivered inspirational speeches such as the I Have a Dream speech that changed our world and that no one will ever forget. He was a Baptist minister and a social activist who played a very huge role in the American civil rights movement of the mid-1950s. Martin Luther King was also known as MLK. Attended segregated public schools in Georgia when he was younger. His father, Michael King, was a pastor at a Baptist church in Atlanta, Georgia. By the age of 15, Martin was accepted into Morehouse College, a historically black school in Atlanta. This was a very young age to be accepted into a college, but he was very smart and everyone knew that. By the summer before his last year of college, he knew he had to go carry on the family tradition and go into ministry. He received his bachelor's degree from Morehouse at age 19 and enrolled in Crozer Theological Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania. Graduating with a Bachelor of Divinity degree in 1951, he earned a doctorate in systematic theology from Boston University in 1955. The Pittsburgh Courier says Martin Luther King Jr. was installed as pastor of the 77-year-old Dexter Avenue Baptist Church of this city in a special service last Sunday, which attracted visitors from the entire section. In 1955, a 15-year-old black schoolgirl refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white man, which was in violation of the Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow laws basically are the reason for slavery. King was part of the committee that looked into this case. They wanted to challenge the Jim Crow laws and make it a case, but because she was pregnant, they said it would draw too much attention. This is pretty much the same case as Rosa Parks, but her case caused a boycott and became a huge deal. These two are examples of why Martin Luther King's movement and speeches are so important to history. King joined these boycotts and because he played such a big role in them, people would threaten his life. His house was firebombed, and around the same time he was arrested. His role in the bus boycott made him the best-known speaker of the civil rights movement. On August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King gave the I Have a Dream speech during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The speech was to put an end to racism in the United States and also for economic and civil rights, and is one of the most unforgettable and influential speeches in American history. The speech was very powerful and such an iconic moment in history. There were over 250,000 people spread across the National Mall in Washington, D.C., listening to this speech. In this speech, he returns to the group as a whole, announcing he still has a dream about the nation. His dream is that America will finally live up to the words of the founders, that all men are created equal. Every single thing King says in this speech means so much and has impacted everyone to this day. If it wasn't for him, who knows what our world would be like. April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated by a white man. The New York Times newspaper says, "Dismay, shame, anger, and foreboding marked the nation's reaction last night to the tragedy." Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King was a symbol of the nonviolent civil rights movement. He was a man of peace, of dedication, of great courage. His senseless assassination solved nothing. At 6:05 p.m. on Thursday, he was shot dead while standing on a balcony outside a second-floor room of the Lorraine Motel. The day this happened, there were major outbreaks of racial violence, over 40 deaths nationwide, and property damage in our 100 cities. This shows how much Martin Luther impacted everyone. He was a huge role model to many, plus 50 much more. Even though there was a major death, it energized the black Americans, had even more hatred for whites than ever before. Martin Luther King Jr. went through so much, but still kept pushing to fight for what is right. He didn't stop or give up ever, and I think this has impacted and influenced so many people to do the same. He once said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that."